cool.
On the way out.
What? You're not going to hang around and see how it all happens, Mark?
No, you're on.
Do you want a bit of playback on that? Now,
No, you're recording. Just strap on for 5
Okay.
minutes.
good evening, folks. Welcome. Should I say good evening or hello?
Oh, good evening, I think is a good start.
Yeah, good evening. Well, looks like good evening. And welcome to Alan Jonesy's NFL inaugural podcast. Tonight with me is Sean Jones, affectionately known as Jonesy. Good evening, Jonesy.
Thank you, Al. I'm really glad to be here tonight and for our inaugural podcast.
Yes, I will try to use the word inaugural a little bit next time. I just want to remind everyone that we are proudly presented to you by Altitude IT and Vision Decor. So, Sean, we're going to start with the formalities. Did you see anything in Week 17 that surprised you?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, Al, is your tipping record and having 4 multis in a row, I think, maybe 3 multis in a row. Fantastic tipping there, and surprisingly you went for the Redskins in that 4th game of the multi. Redskins too inconsistent. I know you don't like Kirk Cousins, the Giants to me looked like they were going to win that game.
Well, you know, ironically, in weeks, well, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. It was a bit of a dead rubber type of round. I was surprised to see Sanchez get so much airtime at Dallas, but we will bring that up at another stage. Very disappointed about the Redskins, watching into that game. Can't believe the way Kirk Cousins, and you know, you made a point about how you suspected, Jonesy, that I don't like Kirk Cousins, but he seems to be chasing that affection more than any NFL footballer I've ever known. Quite famously yelling out, "How do you like me now?" to the general manager at a part of the season where it just doesn't count.
Well, I think that he's going to get his payday pretty soon, Al, and he'll be laughing all over the bank.
Pretty much. Good call. Okay. So let's do a very quick review of the regular season, if you, folks, and then we'll go to a break. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about who we consider the 2 best AFC and NFC teams. Sean?
Well, every road to the Super Bowl in the AFC goes through one place, Al, and it has done for the last 10 years, maybe 15 years. That's through New England. The Patriots, definitely contenders, obviously. I think they're going to make the championship game. The second team for me in the AFC is a team that have really come on in the last few weeks. They only just beat the Browns last week, but I think they've got the weapons both offensively and defensively, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a dangerous side in the AFC, and really have to watch out for them. Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown. Well, that's a pretty good starting point for winning football in the playoffs.
And someone even said recently that their defences learn how to pass rush as well. So
if that gets better, then that can be dangerous, especially against New England.
Good call. I like it. I'm not going to talk too much about the Patriots. I think that I begrudgingly have to admit that they pencil themselves in as a top 2 AFC team every year and have done for a long time. My second team is one that I was a little bit disappointed in last year. I thought they might have been the team to beat the Patriots, Sean, in the playoffs, and that was Kansas City, and they just ran out of puff at the wrong time of the year. But I tell you what, is Tyreek Hill the most exciting player in the NFL at the moment?
If he gets free, no one can catch him.
That's madness.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Okay, let's go on to NFC teams, Sean.
Well, begrudgingly, I have to say, Alan...
I've already used that word begrudgingly.
Okay,
surely we should have a limit on that.
Okay. I'm sorry to say that Dallas is the number 1 seed in the NFC for a reason. Winning form is good form. You can't argue with it. They go in as probably the most dangerous side. There's a few teams that are just under that. The team that I think is looking dangerous is one that I think you and I probably picked early in the season and then got off them for a little while. That's the Green Bay Packers. I think the Green Bay Packers are a side that can... Aaron Rodgers, he's unbelievable. Him and Brady are probably the 2 best quarterbacks in the league. And I think the defense is definitely playing better for Green Bay. It was shocking for a while there, but I think The injuries, getting your best players back, I think the Green Bay Packers can cause an upset and maybe even make it to the NFC title game.
Look, and they're getting a running game as well together, so and we've all seen how important that can be. Look, goes without saying, Dallas blows me away. I can't believe they've been this good this year, and by God, I am very excited about it, Sean, let me tell you.
And you keep telling me.
Oh, steady on, champ. The team that I've liked the most this year, as opposed to Dallas, is the Atlanta Falcons. And I think a lot of it's just because I like watching them play. They are an excitement machine team.
Yeah.
They are going to do their darnest to say, we reckon we've got a pretty good offense, and we reckon it's better than yours, and we're going to play like that. And it's been exciting to watch. And no, a little bit boring. I have gone for the second seed in both divisions, but there you go. Well, this is going to be a little bit of a tough one for some of us in the room, folks. The two worst AFC and NFC teams this year, Sean. Let's start with the AFC. Cushion the blow a little bit for you, mate.
Well, you can't go past everyone's perennial worst place team. If you're picking the 30 teams, you're probably going to pick this team as being last. That's the Cleveland Browns. Look, they tried hard this year. I think their fans would be happy with their effort, but really, they need a lot of things to go right for them to go well.
Let's not forget the week that we decided to post a sign saying "Go Cleveland Browns" was actually the one week that they won this year as well, Sean, if you don't mind.
Well, thanks to Bagirk Productions for that.
Across apparently.
And look, the AFC, threw up some kind of stinking teams. One team that I think probably is one of the worst teams is the San Diego Chargers. I think the Chargers, they
lost to Cleveland.
They lost to Cleveland. They really have underachieved for me. There's a couple other teams that I could have picked there, but I think the Chargers really were mired in nothingness all year. Nothing really for the fans to get excited about, and maybe even leaving.
Phillip Rivers has got to go. Harsh, but look, for myself, I went the Browns, and I went the Jags as well. I thought that the Jags were going to offer a little bit more than what they did this year. They were 4 years into I don't know how many year plan, but they seem to have been progressing. And then Blake Ball, I don't know what to say about that. Oh man, as a quarterback, I think that they've invested incorrectly in him. They got rid of their coach. I can't remember his name, but his two first names, much like mine, so you can't trust those people anyway. It's just, if you're a Jags or Brown supporter at the moment, you'd be thinking, oh my God.
I'd rather live in Florida than live in Cleveland, though. So.
Well, you can't argue with that, although the Cavs are playing well. And your two worst performing teams in the NFC, Sean?
Well, it pains me to say, I think they both probably come from the same division for me, because I really, which is the NFC West. One team is my beloved 49ers, have to be probably the worst team. Really showed this week by getting our general manager and our coach shown the door quite quickly. So
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly and Trent Baalke gone. So
is that 3 coaches in 3 years?
It's 3 coaches in 3 years. So almost close.
Jim Harbaugh being one of those.
I think Jim Harbaugh had run out his welcome. I think he's got a shelf life. So let's hope. The 49ers are a good franchise. Hopefully they can rebound and not be Browns-like. The other team is in our division, which is the LA Rams, and we beat them twice this year. So if we beat them twice, then they must be pretty bad.
Good summary.
They had some good games early after we won in week 1, but it was a bit of a farce for the rest of the season, and they're looking forward to moving to a big new stadium and getting a new coach, I guess.
Yeah, well done for them for sacking their coach as well. The only team for I don't know how long, Jonesy, to have won a game twice in a season without scoring a touchdown in either of those games. Quite ridiculous, really. Look, I could agree with those two, and I'm going to throw the Bears in. I just hope for the Bears' sake that there is a little bit of lining at the end of the light at the end of the tunnel by them saying sayonara to Jay Cutler. They have to break that partnership. It's just been he was fine earlier on in his career, but for the last 4 or 5 years, he's been terrible. Barclay, all the pundits were saying, I was quite impressed with Barclay as a backup quarterback. I thought that he sort of brought the Bears to life a little bit in the mid-season. Towards the end, they started.
Their division's too tough for them to win. They got to get a lot better to win their division.
They're in a bit of a tricky situation. Let's hope they can draft well.
Yeah.
Okay, most surprising performance AFC and NFC teams for you, Sean?
I guess it's been building for a while for the in the AFC, but the Oakland Raiders this year really looked like a championship quality team. They don't right now, going into the third string quarterback.
Very unfortunate the car crashed.
But let's hope they can. Let's hope they can come back next year. I think that's going to be an interesting story.
If he can get fit.
If he can get fit, I think he can come back, and yeah, I think we're looking for the silver and black army to really go hard there.
Yeah.
In the NFC, probably the most surprising was how bad a lot of teams played. That was the most surprising. There was some good performances, but it was very inconsistent. One of the things was the disparity between the Seahawks at home and away. I think we went 9-0 at home and 9-0 away or something like that.
They did actually beat the Patriots at Foxborough.
Yeah.
That was,
So maybe
and
that was
I
their
thought they
own
were
one.
going to take off after that, but then they just.
Yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting kind of season.
That's a very good call. I could throw the Cardinals in the same sort of category. I thought they definitely underachieved. The Panthers, what happened there?
Yeah. Well, that's the next one, though.
Okay, let's. Oh, well, thank you, Sean. I should read the rundown sheet a little bit closer that I actually came up with today. For me, the most surprising was probably in the AFC was the Dolphins. I think that they've just been the New England Patriots bitch for, pardon my French, for far too long now. Haven't even looked at them. And nothing really changed in that regard this year, but at least they started taking care of the other teams in their division.
Well, they started acting like the big fish in the ocean rather than the minnows.
Well, I hope that was recorded. Notwithstanding the fact that the Jets and the Bills were a little bit rubbish, who are the other teams. But yeah, look, Ryan Tannehill, I had my doubts about him. Real shame that he got injured. And Matt Moore could do something for him. Yeah. I don't think they'll go too much further in the playoffs, but well done for having a 11-5 season. And the Lions, the way that they were able to win 8 out of 9 games where they were behind in the last quarter was very surprising. And they didn't have Megatron this year to throw to, so they
Matthew Stafford showing why he was the king of the jungle.
I'm sure I heard an American accent in there, and we've been rooting for that. Pardon the pun. Dolphins and Lions for me, Jonesy, a little bit different. Most disappointing teams for you?
Well, I think there was a lot of disappointment in the AFC this year, but I think probably the team that really went backwards is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes.
I think the Bengals, they've been a 10-win team. They've been prowling around, trying to push the Steelers around, killing the Browns. And,
put their coach under a lot of pressure.
And the Ravens. And this year, I think Andy Dalton may have been injured early, but he's certainly played quite a few games. They were rubbish. There was nothing this year. They were nothing. So
did Andy Dalton come up in any conversation this year with anyone?
I don't think so. I think he was. They really flew under the radar this year because they really weren't contending in a pretty average AFC Central.
Look, well, I've got the Colts. I just think has the problem become that Chuck Logano and the owner aren't getting on anymore? Have they invested too much in Andrew Luck? Where is their offensive line? They are playing against Houston, who is going to have Brock Osweiler starting for them. They won the division. They've got the Jags and they've got the Titans, which I sort of thought were a little bit unlucky, but we won't go on too much about that. So, and they just don't they just don't protect Andrew Luck at all, and they're paying him $1 million a minute or whatever. NFC, most disappointing NFC team for you, Jonesy?
Well, that will have to be my 49ers. I just can't believe
if it makes any, if it's any conversation, I had them in my multis a lot. Thank you, 49ers.
Well, they were good to bet against, I guess, this year. Look, the 49ers have probably got the second worst roster in the NFL, and that comes down to the general manager. The coach can only do what the coach can do on the field, so we need to get a guy in there who can get some half decent players. I'd say we've got 25 decent players. We need another 15 right now. So
and what's the future for Blaine Gabbert and Colin Kaepernick?
Well, who knows? You know, as I said, we need better players. We haven't got good players at all skill positions. You know, so Blaine Gabbert and Colin Kaepernick both shown that they can win in the NFL. And hopefully, if we put a few weapons around them and our defense can get a little better, then the 49ers can regain those glory years and get to the Super Bowl in a pretty stacked NFC.
Yes, you keep telling me that, but you keep trying to suggest that the 49ers are going to have the sort of season next year like Dallas have had this year on the back of some useful drafting. Good luck, Jan. I'm going to say I'm going to say the Panthers for me. I really didn't know what was going on there, and the only thing that seemed to happen with the Panthers is that Cam Newton didn't do that too much.
No, he got hit in the head a lot though.
He got smashed. First game of the year, the Broncos just came out and just delivered on him, and I just don't think he got over that, Jones, because we seem to see him in press conferences all the time, just saying, I'm not getting a penalty for every time someone hits me in the head.
Well, when
it's been going on for too long.
When you're one of the biggest stars in the NFL and probably the fanciest dresser, although not so much to my liking. Suits look good, the hat, maybe not, but each to their own.
Sure.
He's got a voice, he's whinging a bit, he's still finding his way in the NFL and being a global superstar. But the bottom line is that they were disappointing and they all need to play better, the Panthers. I think Riverboat Ron maybe park the riverboat on the side of the jetty and
finished last in their division.
A few injuries and just really did not look like the team that went to the Super Bowl last year.
No, they iced Luke Kuechly very early, 4 weeks into a concussion, so be interested to see how they perform next year. Anyway, Jonesy, that's the end of that particular segment, so
let's go.
Yeah. I don't know how long that went for. I think it seemed to go for a long time.
17:48. Is that 15 minutes?
Wow.
That's way too long. I think we dribbled on way too much. that's my view of things, I reckon.